Hello and welcome back. My name is AJ, one of the hosts here at the Satoshi Society YouTube channel, and I thought I would just go live very briefly before the CPI live stream that we are going to do later on. I'll just let you know we are going to go live a little bit later on today because we are going to wait for that CPI data and we are going to be live when that CPI data comes out. So just to bring up that chart for you here, let me just find it quickly, which is right here. So as of right now, the CPI forecast is 8.7%. And when we go live today, we will be waiting to see what the actual CPI print is. And as you can see here, this chart just shows you what's happened from the previous CPI data. So there isn't really a pattern that we can really look at here. The only sort of pattern that I have found looking at this chart is that when we have come higher than forecasted, and we have seen these sort of bearish patterns that you can see here, this bearish flag. So we've got three of them that we can see on the screen right now. When we have come in higher than expected, we have actually broken towards the downside of this bearish flag and had another leg towards the downside. So you can see it back here. We broke towards the downside right here. We had the CPI print come in higher than expected at 8.5, where the forecast was 8.4. And then we got that leg towards the downside. Same thing happened on the 10th of June. You can see we have this bear flag here. We broke towards the downside after we got the CPI print coming in higher than forecasted. So 8.6 was the actual CPI print, and the forecast was 8.3. Now, we do have another bearish flag here, as you can see. And today is the 10th of August. The CPI print is going to come out today. As I said a little bit earlier, 8.7 is what is forecasted. If we do come in higher than expected, then from looking at history, there is a possibility we could break towards the downside of this bearish flag and get another leg towards the downside. So I just thought I would bring that to your attention. And yeah, again, we are going live as that CPI data is coming out. So make sure you stick around for that later on today as well. But the main topic of this video that I want to sort of bring across to you is that there is a possible bearish scenario coming out of this CPI data print. As you can see, previously we have come out bearish when we have come out higher than forecasted. So if we do come out higher than forecasted, the likelihood of it is we are going to break this pattern here. Now, this pattern is on the 12-hour. And what we can see here, we can sort of call it two different patterns. So we've got the ascending triangle pattern with this resistance that you can see right here. Or we could call this a rising wedge pattern. Looking at these two yellow lines here, they form a textbook rising wedge. Now, we are, as of right now, testing the support of this rising wedge. I've posted this over on Twitter, so make sure you follow us over on Twitter as well. But basically, we are testing this support. And if we do break towards the downside, there is most likely going to be downside. And especially if we do get negative, sort of a negative reaction to the CPI print today. If we get a bullish reaction, I do think it's going to Bitcoin is going to find support along the support level here, and we will most likely come and bounce back up to that resistance level, retesting that resistance and potentially breaking above it. But if we do get that negative reaction to the CPI data print today, then the likelihood of it is that we are going to break down out of this ascending triangle or rising wedge, whatever you want to call it. And the likelihood of it is we will most likely come down and test this support, which is between $21,140 and $21,740 approximately. So if we do break this, I do think we are going to come down and test this level here. We do have two TPs if we do break towards the downside of this rising wedge. So the first TP would be at the $21,000 level, as you can see here, and that lines up perfectly with this support level here, this blue support level. We can see major resistance previously. When we were above it, we broke above it, we did come back and test it as support, and we saw a nice bounce off it. So I do think if we do break towards the downside, we are most likely going to come down and test this support level here. If we can't get held up by this support level and we do break this support level, then the next TP that I'll be looking at is the $19,360 approximate level, which is all the way down here, this dotted yellow line here. Now, looking at other indicators, as of right now, I do think we are going to break towards the downside, but obviously we do have to wait for that CPI data to come out, because if it is bullish, then this could completely scrap all of the indicators that we have going on right now, all the bearish indicators that we are seeing. So the first bearish indicator that I am seeing is actually a bearish divergence. So what we can see over here on the RSI is we can see momentum towards the downside. Looking at the price action chart, we can see price action towards the upside. That's a textbook bearish divergence. And what tends to happen when we see bearish divergences is the price to pull back. So that's one signal to me that we are going to break towards the downside of this rising wedge pattern. You can see we've already seen a reaction out of this bearish divergence. You can see we got the confirmation here of the bearish divergence, and we have seen three 12-hour candles in the red. This one isn't confirmed yet, but it will be in 42 minutes. So if we can hold this in 42 minutes, then great. But yeah, there is very, very bearish signals. The other bearish signal that I am looking at is this MACD. Now, what we're looking at on the MACD is we are seeing momentum towards the downside on the green bars here. Now, this is telling me that the bulls are losing steam. And when we do see this, when we do see the loss of momentum, loss of bullish momentum on the MACD, we do tend to get a pullback. So if the CPI print wasn't today, I would most likely tell you that there's a 99% chance that we are going to break towards the downside of this rising wedge pattern, and we will most likely hit those targets because we've got that bearish divergence and we've got momentum towards the downside on the MACD. Previously, if you look back and look when this has happened before, then it clearly shows you that we do see a pullback when we get a loss of momentum on the MACD. So that's what I'm looking at as of right now. But again, we have this CPI data. It can come up bearish, and if it does come up bearish, then I will be shorting this if we do get that break towards the downside of this rising wedge. But again, we can come out bullishly from this CPI data. If we do come out bullishly, then we will most likely find support along the bottom of this rising wedge and come back up and test that resistance. So just be aware, if you are thinking about getting into a trade, I would just hold off until the CPI data does come out, because as of right now, we are unaware of what the CPI print is going to be. And as you can see, this chart here, so we've only ever forecasted it perfectly I think it's only twice. Yeah, only twice before. And previously, you can see that we forecasted on the 10th of February 7.3, but we came out 7.5. On the 12th of April, we forecasted 8.4. We came out 8.5. I know it's not a big difference, but you can see that these forecasts aren't 100% correct at all. So we do not know what the CPI print is going to be. So I would just hold off with any sort of long trading or short trading as of right now, and I'd wait for that to come out. We will pump. Yes, potentially. Akaneshi, good morning. Hello, how are you? Yes, potentially we could pump when the CPI data does come out. We will see. But the charts are looking bearish, so we will have to get a bullish reaction from the CPI print to sort of invalidate these bearish signals that we are seeing right now. Dump coming. I personally think, looking at the charts, I do think a dump is coming to at least around the $21,400 level, then maybe potentially the $19,300 level if we do break the support, but only if we do break this major support level here. Because as you can see, it's been major resistance and it's been a nice support level here as well. So it is going to act as lots and lots of support. Short Bitcoin daily chart, very bad. the daily chart isn't looking good. That just reminded me there is, thank you, always new. There is something I want to show you on the daily chart as well, which isn't looking too good either. So if I just zoom out, basically what I'm looking at here, we can get rid of the MACD. What I'm looking at here is the RSI. And I'm looking at patterns on the RSI. So what we can see on the RSI as of right now is we can see a rising wedge on the RSI. Now, if we do break to the downside of this rising wedge on the 12-hour, then we will most likely break towards the downside of this rising wedge on the daily as well. It will be a little bit lagged behind because this is on the daily and the other rising wedge is on the 12-hour. So it will be lagged behind, but most likely we will break towards the downside of this rising wedge if we break towards the downside of the 12-hour rising wedge on the price action charts. But what I want to show you with these rising wedges is that previously when we've had these rising wedges, so the previous rising wedge we had on the RSI was back here, and we broke towards the downside of this rising wedge on the 6th of April. When we broke towards the downside, we did see a pretty major leg towards the downside. So that is what I'm worried about. You know, we have this rising wedge. If we do break towards the downside, we could have another leg towards the downside. Now, because this rising wedge is on the RSI, it doesn't give us a price target. I do have a price target of around $19,300 if we do break towards the downside of the rising wedge on the 12-hour, but it doesn't give us a price target. But what it tells me is that we are most likely going to come down and test the lower levels at around 21 on the RSI. If we do break towards the downside, obviously, if we get bullish CPI prints, we can have a move towards the upside, sort of move towards the upside, invalidating this. But as I said, we did break towards the downside on the 6th of April, and we had a big leg towards the downside. Now, that's not the only time that's happened. Dating all the way back to 2020, 2019 as well, we can see over the end of 2019 and the start of 2020, we did form one of these rising wedges as well. We did break towards the downside, and what did we see? We saw a pretty substantial pullback in the crypto markets. So this is what's worrying me on the daily chart as of right now, because we are forming that rising wedge on the daily chart, on the daily RSI. So if we do break towards the downside, I do think another leg towards the downside is going to be something that is pretty likely. Now, 19,000 is sort of that target if we do break towards the downside of this RSI, rising wedge and the rising wedge on the 12-hour. And that would break this blue support here. You know, blue supports are very strong support. The next blue support level we do have is all the way down here between that sort of 18,900 or 19,000 and the $19,500. That is the next major support if we were to break this major support here. As you can see previously, this has held us up pretty strongly. So that's the next level I would be looking at as sort of the worst case scenario. If we were to break that, then there would be much more downside, I personally think, you know, maybe to 15,000. But, you know, we've got lots of support holding us up. So there isn't, you know, any need to start talking about that 15,000 as of right now. If we do break this support here, then we can start talking about that. But I don't think, you know, I think that we can hold these supports. Hopefully we can. And, you know, overall, hopefully we just get some bullish CPI data so we don't even have to worry about these bearish targets. But, you know, it's not all bad if we do come back down to 19,000. Personally, for me anyway, because it just gives us more buying opportunities. I don't know what your take on it is. If we do come down to 19,000 again, are you going to be buying? Let me know in the comments as well. The weekly chart is just barely holding the line. Let's have a look at the weekly here. Give me a second. I will just have to find my weekly charts. I'm not sure where I've got so many charts open. I'm not sure where it is. So the weekly chart. This is a weekly chart here. Yeah. So looking at the weekly charts, the weekly chart is actually looking quite good. I think the weekly chart is pretty bullish. If we can get some, where are they? If we can get some stochastic RSI and stochastic on. Now, looking at the stochastic RSI, we can see that, we've been in that oversold region, and we are climbing towards the upside. So that isn't too good on the stochastic RSI, because we are getting up into that sort of oversold region. That overbought region, that overextended region again. But looking at the RSI, I've showed you this chart previously before, and this is looking quite good for me on the weekly, because we have dipped below the 30 on the RSI. Previously, when we've dipped below the 30, we've had these massive, massive pumps in the crypto market. You can see it twice here. So this was back in the 2018 bear market. We dipped below the 30 level, and we got that massive move towards the upside. Again, in the 2015 bear market, we got that dip below 30 and that massive move. The COVID dump, we did come very close to 30. We dipped to 34, and we had that massive, massive pump. We have dipped below 30. We came to around 25. So looking back at history, we are meant to have a massive pump from this level. But obviously, these indicators can't be right 100% of the time. But it is a possibility that $17,500 level was the bottom. And this chart does indicate that. But for me, the weekly chart is actually looking quite good, because we have held this previous all-time high. We have dipped below it with a candle wick, but we did hold the candle above this $19,700 level approximately, which was sort of the all-time high for the 2017 bull market. So it is good that we are finding support along that level on the weekly. So the weekly for me is looking quite good. But yes, we won't dump. We'll see. We'll see. The indicators are telling me that we will see a dump, but there is a possibility that the CPI data comes out bullishly and we do find support. 32 minutes until we do get that confirmation close of this candle. Hopefully we can find support along it. I would like to see us come out bullishly out of this pattern here, using it as an ascending triangle. But again, if we come out bearishly, then that's, we can enter a short position, and we can enter some buying opportunities down here as well. How many hours before the CPI report? So in the UK, which is where I am right now, the CPI print is coming out. I think it's 1:30. So we're going live a little bit before that. I'm not sure if I'm correct on that. Ben knows all the times for that. So if Ben's watching this, if you could put that in the comments, that would be great. But yeah, I think we're going live at 25 minutes past 1 UK time, British summer time, and in the Dubai it is 25 minutes past 4. So you will have to figure that out in whatever time zone you are. RSI can go down without a major dump. Yes, it can. We can see sort of indicators come down and sort of reset whilst the price is consolidating, but normally it is a consolidation towards the downside or a pullback towards the downside. Below 20k is exactly what I am being patient for. If we do come back down to 20k, now that I am going to be accumulating a lot more. It's almost expected, but I'd be surprised if it goes significantly below $17,500. I don't think we can wipe going below $17,500 completely off the table. I would be surprised as well. But yeah, there's a chart. Ben loves me showing this one. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Where is it? There we go. Let me just put that on my screen. So this chart here, and I'll refresh it for you as well, so we get the best. There we go. Nicely refreshed. So here we go. This is the CVDD, and previously it has predicted the bottom of every single bear market. So back in 2011, I will just have to zoom in. It's quite hard to see, but it has the CVDD, the pink line here. It has perfectly predicted the bottom in the 2011 bear markets. It also perfectly predicted the bottom in the 2015 bear market. As you can see here, we found perfect support along that pink line. This happened all the way in 2018 again as well. We found perfect support along that pink line, came very close to it in the March 2020 dump, the COVID dump as we know it, but we didn't quite make it. But that wasn't a proper bear market, so I wasn't too worried about that not coming down and testing it. But we are in a bear market as of right now. So the CVDD currently sits at just under $15,600. So that is a potential target because it has predicted the bottom of every single bear market in the past. There is still a possibility it could predict the bottom of this bear market as well. So $15,600 is a level that I am looking at. So I'm not wiping that off the table. I'm not wiping break below $17,500 off the table completely because this chart has perfectly worked in the past previously, so it could work again. Now, indicators, they're not always going to work 100%. Have to be aware of that, and it may not do it this time round as well, but there is a possibility it could because it has done it previously before. So yeah. Top 10 Bitcoin whale bought 3 billion worth of. AJ, apparently there is a new top 10 Bitcoin whale bought 3 billion worth. I will look into that for you, and maybe I'll come back on the next live stream with that. I'm not too sure about that, so I'll have to have a look at that. And yeah, I think if you've got any other questions, please make sure you leave them down below. If there's any charts you want to look at, then let me know below. And yeah, that's pretty much what I've got for you today. Just updating you on this chart here. If we do break towards the downside, we do have 27 minutes left of this candle. Now, I'll tell you now, break towards the downside in 27 minutes. I will not be opening up a short position. I will be waiting for that CPI data to come out before I even think about opening up a short position. So yeah, just be aware if you are opening up a short or a long position before the CPI data comes out, because I do think we are going to see a lot of volatility when we do get this CPI data out. Just showing you again, you can see when we have the CPI data come out, we do have a lot of volatility that happens afterwards. So just be aware of that. And if there are no questions, then I think that's all I've got for you today. Not for the rest of today. We do have another live with Ben later on. As I said, it's 25 past 1 that we are going live UK time, and Dubai time, that's 25 past 4, which is where Ben is located. So yeah, make sure you do not miss that. We will be seeing how the market reacts to that, and I will update you over there on this chart as well, and we'll see if we do break towards the downside. So yeah, make sure you trade safe, use protection. As always, that's sort of our trademark saying now, use protection. And yeah, we will be looking forward to seeing you in the next live stream, which will be, as I said, 25 past 1 UK time, 25 past 4 in Dubai time. So if you did enjoy this video, please make sure you smash a like. It does really help us out and enables us to continue bringing you these videos, which I hope they do help you out. And yeah, if you are new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button as well. That always helps as well. So thank you very much for watching, and yeah, we will see you later, and let's keep those fingers crossed. So see you later.